Hey there, food fans. Welcome back to the Food for ThoughtCast with me, your host, Melissa Reagan, and my co-host with the most, Chef Steven Gonzalez. What's up?
I got a bone to pick with you. We have not talked about molecular physics in like ever. So
Cool.
now we're going to talk about it today. We're not a food for thoughtcast. We're the molecular physics.
We're the
I don't know, get
molecular
through. How's
physics. It's like,
it going?
hey man, I can't even long divide. I'm not quite sure what you want.
Right? I don't even
once,
know what that is. It sounded
once,
cool, but it really wasn't as cool as I thought it was going to be.
once
So
I
there's
found out that they made a tracker keeper with a hidden calculator in the front pocket, all bets were off.
that.
I stopped learning math.
I'm sure as soon as you heard we have to talk, you're like, oh no, jeez. What crap is Steven going to
Like
say this
we have to
time?
we have to talk about what? Well, I thought you were going to say molecular gastronomy, and I was like, oh, tweezers and foam, got it. But
No, I'm not that cool.
me neither, dude.
I'm putting words together
I wish I
for
could.
topics that we have no clue about.
I wish I could be cool, but I'm not.
Right?
Hey, Steve, what are you up to today, man? I heard you got something tasty cooking.
We are meal prepping. So
Yes.
I have in my smoker right now some wild caught salmon, some chicken thighs, and some deer.
Mm.
Because I'm trying to keep it clean, but at the same time, like I got free deer meat, so and it wasn't off the side of the road either. I promise you, it was freshly killed. My dad and I cleaned the deer. We broke it down. I gave some of it away to some friends, but like I'm trying to meal prep and I'm replacing sirloin for venison. So why
What?
not?
What's not plain about deer? It's just protein.
Yeah, I'm at this point. We're gonna try to eat it for sustenance, not so
Mm.
much for flavor.
Mm.
We'll see what happens. Typically, as far as I'm concerned, everyone just grinds it up like for sausage or
Yeah,
hamburger
sure.
meat. But
That
I
seems
wanted
a
to try something
it seems
different.
a bit of a sad approach to eat for sustenance and not flavor. You let me know how that turns out.
Well, I used meat church seasoning, so there's also that.
A little bit flavor then.
It'll taste good. I don't know if it'll be good, but at this point in the game, I should know what I'm doing. Should,
A wee bit. A wee bit.
right?
Okay, so wild caught salmon. They're just fillets.
Oh yeah, just from the grocery store,
Skin on or skin off?
skin on for now. And the only reason why I got wild caught is because my wife won't eat farm raised. So, you know.
Sure.
And then chicken thighs, just because chicken thighs are pretty, clean and good for you.
For anybody that doesn't know, there's a kind of best of both worlds scenario where you can get a conservatory raised fish that's like an open water farm, for lack of a better word. So kind of doesn't have like all the things that people like to be concerned about with farming, but it's not as expensive as wild caught. Just if anybody out there is ever curious about what your options are.
Yeah.
Kind of like the difference between like the chickens they keep in cages and the chickens they let roam free are like right next door to each other.
They taste the same.
Like,
It all tastes the same. It all comes out the same way. I'm just saying.
No, I mean I get the approach, and I get why people have a preference over one or the other, and I'm not saying that any way is wrong, right? But there are some options out there if you're like, hey, I would like to not be broke after I buy this, and I also care about these certain things, right? So
It all comes out one way or another.
yeah,
So it to me it's all the same.
right, right.
Maybe
When you smoke your salmon, what temperature do you smoke your salmon?
250
Okay.
because wild caught's so thin and it cooks so fast that it's I have all that other meat in there, so I figured we'll just pull it at like 20 minutes and call it a day and pray for the best.
It cooks really fast because it doesn't have all the farm pellets in it. I'm sorry, I couldn't
Yeah,
resist. Okay,
you're not wrong.
it's not a big, but I couldn't resist.
You
Um,
know, go ahead.
I have to highlight my cup. This is special.
L as
L.
in
It's
what
for
is
the
else?
way. It's for the way I love this cup. My friends Jared and Tiffany gave me this cup one time to drink coffee on the way home, and somebody has almost thrown it away at work several times over the years because they don't know it belongs to me because my name does not start with L. So I like to joke that the L stands for "Let me have my cup back."
Jerk.
Then
Right?
I had to label it so people stopped doing it.
Let me have my cup back, you
let, me,
jerk.
let me have my cup back, you jerk. Anyway, shout out to
Yeah.
them.
So,
Um,
you know, again, going back to the meal prep and all that fun stuff,
Yeah.
it's just something different, because when I heat it back up,
Yeah. It has to
when I
taste
heat it
good.
up, there's different ways to heat it up. So,
Mhm.
yeah.
So you have venison. What parts of the venison do you have? Like,
I
what
got
do
the
you?
shoulder, the leg, I got
Mhm.
backstrap. I'm not cooking backstrap today. I just wanted to, at this point, just cook it just to see. Like, it's been in my experience where you can grill it up, but it always
Mhm.
comes out just a little bit tough. Again, all the hunters I know, they all grind it up for burgers, which is fine, but I want to see what
You
happens.
know, so this is going to sound like a little bit unorthodox, but I've gotten some parts and pieces of uh, venison over the years, and I've been able to put it in the crock pot and braise it and make taco meat with it.
I'm always afraid to do that because I'm always afraid it's going to be real tough. Because I've done that once before and it was so dried out that it scarred me for life.
Well, it's very lean, so it needs like some
Exactly.
fat. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think you could do a little salt pork in there, a little lard, a little butter, a little bacon, like whatever you wanted to do. But I ground up some guajillos, some New Mexico chilies, some garlic, and some annatto paste. So kind of like a combo of like a couple of different, culinary approaches there. But the end result was like a shredded, really gamey, hearty taco.
Yeah.
And it was good. So
Yeah. Nice.
yeah,
Well,
because I get tired of, like you say, like people grind it up for sausage and stuff. I've had it stew meat. I love making chili with it. Backstrap's like altogether kind of a different, a different ballgame.
yeah.
It's a different animal, even though it's still deer. But yeah, so.
And it's all about, just moderation. So we'll heat it
Mhm.
all up and then we'll move on to another animal.
Hey,
Yeah.
what are you making to go with it?
So like the chicken thighs will get like uh, toasted walnuts and spinach. The venison will get some avocado and spinach, and then the salmon will get olives and spinach. So keeping it
Spinach.
simple, really, really. A lot of spinach, a lot of spinach. The best part is because when you throw it in the microwave, it all cooks down to next to nothing, so it's fine.
Are you sautéing the spinach?
No,
Okay.
it's going in whole. It'll all.
Okay, it goes in that way so that when you reheat it up, it's good to go.
The only time I put flavor in all my meals now is when I cook for YouTube or TikTok.
I don't
That's
know
because I still have to get some practice in.
You're full of crap.
I mean,
He's like,
I'm not right. I'm not
I only
lying.
put flavor in it when I make it content. You're full of crap.
Yeah, only flavor goes into my content.
Steven,
But
what was the most amazing thing you ate this week?
I have to say it was when we were coming back from San Antonio. We just stopped and had breakfast tacos. They were simple, they were delicious. The carne asada was good. The bacon, egg, and cheese was good. The tortillas were on point. They were homemade. I forgot. It was, of course, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm like, it was like Arnie's Tacos or something like that. It was good in San Antonio.
That sounds awesome, man.
It was pretty good. It was lovely.
I would have killed for a good breakfast taco this morning.
What about you?
The most amazing thing I ate was some crazy whacked out meal I made for myself because I get tired of everything really quickly now. So essentially, I made a moco loco without the loco. So
Which part of being a loco then?
I think it's like the gravy, maybe. I don't know. But I made like a French fry and Caesar salad bowl with 2 sunny side up eggs and bacon on top and some hollandaise and hot sauce, and I was not disappointed by it. So it's definitely the most amazing thing I've eaten this weekend or this week.
It sounds like you were very hungry to come up with something like that.
I was extremely hungry, but nothing sounded good. So
yeah. What was that?
What's that base for?
The microphone?
Maybe. I don't know. I can't hear it. Are you hearing it? Oh.
Yep, that's you.
Oh, yeah. Hold on. I got it.
People listening at home, we intentionally try to mess with you to see if you'll pick up on microphone scrapes,
People,
burps, coughs,
people,
farts.
people listening at home, we obviously don't know what we're doing, but thank you for still listening. It's like a new adventure every time we record. Will it sound good? I don't know.
Right.
So,
Oh my goodness.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, when it comes to heating stuff up for meal prep, I think it all just goes in the microwave.
Yeah.
Done.
Done.
Not really. But what's your favorite way to heat stuff up? Whenever you like go to a restaurant and you take leftovers with you?
Yeah.
What do you do?
So we've talked about leftovers a couple of different times, right? Like if I'm eating Chinese food, I'm probably going to eat it cold.
Okay.
Unless it has rice with it, because cold rice is could be a little bit rough on the palate and a little bit hard to swallow, like literally. But I'm a big lo mein fan, and to me, if it's saucy enough, it tastes really good cold. But, huh?
It's got to be hot. What are you talking about?
Whatever. It's not a wrong answer, Steven.
Crazy. There are no wrong answers unless you eat leftovers cold.
Oh God, shut up. But we had the pizza conversation already.
Touche.
Touche. So if it's Chinese, I'm usually eating it cold. If it has rice in it, what I like to do is I like to make a crater in the middle of the rice and put an ice cube in the middle and then cover it with a wet paper towel so it doesn't get like weird dried out edges. So it kind of steams itself back to deliciousness.
Interesting.
Have you ever heard that before?
No.
Yeah.
Sounds cool.
But yeah, it really depends on what it is, right? Like now that I'm not anti-air fryer, aren't you so proud of me?
Look at you.
If I bring home something that's breaded or crusted or fried, I usually use that. It used to be the toaster oven, but she died a cruel death, and now it's the air fryer.
Did you Office Space it, where you took it to a field and just beat it with a baseball bat?
I can neither confirm nor deny.
As long as you played gangster rap while you were
PC load letter. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I don't know what happened to her. She died. So
it mysteriously vanished.
Mysteriously vanished.
Yeah.
I think the air fryer just laughed. But
because the air fryer knows it's safe.
The air fryer is like going like this.
Right.
What about you?
I do rather enjoy heating stuff up in the air fryer, but I'll typically just heat it up like in a saute pan or in a cast iron.
Bougie.
Yeah.
Bougie.
I know.
Okay, so go ahead. Sorry.
I was gonna say if it's pizza, it always goes like on the cast iron.
Yeah. Admittedly, if I have taken something home from a restaurant, admittedly, I will probably destroy the quality when I eat it again. So I know all the ways that you can keep the pizza good. Like if I had pizza delivered, right, and I couldn't eat the entire thing, or if I brought pizza home from somewhere, I know the ways that you can keep it crispy on the bottom, right? Like you can use a skillet, you can use the air fryer, you could use a toaster oven. But usually I just heat it up to crap in the microwave, and it's soft. But the end goal is like feed me. So I don't get super concerned, even though I know better and I know what to do.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, it's amazing because there's so many different ways. Typically, I'll just throw it all in a vacuum seal bag and I'll just sous vide it. No, not really. A lot of work right there, buddy.
Nice.
Is it though? That sounds like it would be truly awful. Like, who has the time to sous vide their leftovers? Yeah. If you do it at home, wow. Uh-oh. I can't hear you. Did you put yourself on mute? Can you hear me? Ruh-roh. Ruh-roh, Shaggy. I'm not on mute. Now you're on mute. Over there. Over there. Can you hear me? Nod. I can't hear you. Just a moment.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. You are muting yourself. People listening at home, Melissa likes to mute herself just to mess with us.
So what happened was sometimes the computer goes, there's a microphone on your earbuds. Better use it instead of the one you paid all the money for. And that's what happens. So sorry about that.
Yeah. It's like when you go to a drive-through and you're like, yes, I'd like to order one order with a side of... Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Exactly.
World.
So excellent. So anyway, sorry about that, everybody. But what I was going to ask you is what thing that you took home, what leftover, what to-go food would you possibly have the need to sous vide?
That's a good question. That would just be because we could do it, and we're very, what's the word I'm looking for?
Bougie.
Like to show off. I'm get called an amuse douche.
Oh my god, I love it. I love that so much. It's so exciting. Yeah. An amuse douche. So, I'll have to use that. I'm going to use that from now on.
I'm going to have to try sous vide my leftovers one day just
because you can.
Just to be an amuse douche.
They won't have me. They won't have me. Good Lord. Words are hard. They won't let me have a license for a sous vide, so you let me know how that goes. Deal. It's almost like a car, and they barely let me have a license for that.
Well, it's one of those things where,
questionable.
I find throwing stuff in the oven works too. It takes a little bit of time. That's why I just pan fry everything. Yeah.
I have this very fundamental issue with dirtying a pan to heat up to-go stuff.
What's the difference between throwing it in the air fryer? You're dirtying your air fryer basket.
Well, I have a liner for that. I have a paper liner, like a parchment. It looks like a coffee filter,
I feel like you just pulled a wrench into my plans because I was going to make fun of you for that. It's like that movie Beer Fest when they're like, we're not that drunk. You're not that dirty.
Well, my thing is I really prefer if a to-go box is microwavable because then I'm done, 1-2 punch, right?
Yeah.
Have you ever had any disasters trying to heat something up left over and it absolutely ruined it?
Not since I was a kid.
Yeah, tell me the story.
I learned that foil does not go in the microwave.
Oh no! Yeah.
I had to have been in second or third grade. So I learned a very valuable lesson. Ever since then, I have never put foil in the microwave. And I made fun of people who put foil in the microwave because I know you don't do that. But again, in all fairness, I was a child.
Also, some wax paper is also questionable for the microwave.
Yeah.
If you have a sandwich that's wrapped up, probably unwrap that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just sometimes, if it's,
only.
Ugh, dude, it's gnarly. I have to tell you a true story. I asked a culinary graduate one time who I had hired at a restaurant where I worked to melt 2 pounds of butter in the microwave, and he put them both in the microwave, just the 2 pounds of butter in their wrappers, just on the microwave plate. So lo and behold, right? Yeah, man, graduate status. So about 2 minutes later, somebody was like, "Chef," and I was like, "I'm busy," and they're like, "Chef, chef," and I was like, "Yeah," and they were like, "There's butter pouring out of the front of the microwave." I was like, "Oh, okay." I mean, to be fair, they don't train you how to use a microwave in culinary school. However, it should be common sense that if you need to heat something up, you put it in a vessel. I'm just saying.
Common sense ain't so common. I'm just saying.
It's not too common. Not anymore. No. Okay, so obviously metal and foil don't go in the microwave. Some kinds of paper can't go in the microwave. What would you recommend if somebody brought home maybe their favorite burger and they only ate half of it? What would you recommend that they do to have it just be as great as possible to reheat?
Well, I wouldn't recommend wrapping it in foil and throwing it in the microwave.
Probably not that.
I would probably, man, I'd probably just have them throw it on a plate, cover it up, and then throw it in the microwave. Or you can heat your oven up and let it go that way, but that's going to take a long time because you got to wait for everything to preheat. You got to wait for it to get hot. Oh, yeah. Microwave.
So when you're out to eat, does how something will reheat or eat later determine if you take it home or not? Or are you always going to take it home because you paid for it?
I'm always taking it home because I paid for it.
Got it.
Unless I'm like sickly full, then I won't take it home. But yeah, typically it'll just go in the microwave.
I'm super discerning in that way and a little bit picky where I'm like, this is going to be good later, and I'm going to throw it away 3 days later.
Just boil it. You can just boil it, can't you?
Boil it.
Just throw your burger in a pot of boiling water. It'll get hot.
Steve, what if the burger has like mayonnaise?
Burger stuck.
So gross.
I really don't do that. But...
I made you this cheeseburger consomme. Enjoy. Steven, what if the burger has like mayonnaise, lettuce, tomato, pickle?
Then it'll be a very flavorful broth.
No, I mean for like reheating a burger.
Oh.
We're not making burger broth. Not doing it.
No burger broth.
No.
Let it go. That if it has all the condiments in there, well, I mean, you're just running that risk. It's got to get hot one way or another. I mean, you could take out like the patty.
You think you could take the meat off, I think, right?
I mean, you could do that, but, I feel like then you're going to have hot meat and cold buns.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to make anything too complicated, but I get all sort of questions all the time. People think about these things. Like, they want to know how to do it.
Questions about reheating stuff. I really don't.
They want to, lucky you.
Right. I just got lucky. What can I say?
Perhaps. Was there anything that you tried to use as a leftover again that just didn't turn out the way you wanted? Did you try to repurpose a leftover and it really wasn't good?
I think I've done it a time or two. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head, but I'm sure that's happened to me where I'm like, oh, well, this is trash. Yeah. I'm not that hungry.
I always have the best intentions of like, okay, I'm tired of eating whatever this is, right, in its current form, and I think it would be good as this. And then I do it, and I'm just like, I don't eat that.
It's a mystery surprise.
Because I know the ruse, right? Like the gig is up. Like I'm like, no, I know what this started as, so it's not. I'm not doing it.
Yeah,
I can't do it. So that's how most soup happens in my house, and then I don't eat it.
Yep.
Just saying, like,
burger consomme.
Burger consomme.
You're making a form of burger consomme.
Burger consomme. So gross. And we're like, I garnished it with sesame seeds from the top of the bun. Like this soup is the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, that indeed it sounds like it would be. Or a hot dog consomme. Blech.
What I do like to do from time to time is take something that's very plain on its own and repurpose it later on from to-go food, right? So if it's a plain enough rice or some pasta of some kind, I can add meat and vegetable to that later.
Okay.
And make it into something completely different. So I like to freeze like cooked pasta, potatoes, or rice flat into Ziploc baggies because I'm just a single people. I don't need that much at a time. So a little sandwich size Ziploc baggie is usually like a great serving size, right? But I can always transform it into something later on. Like I could make like chicken fried rice, or I could make like kind of baked ziti, if you will. But then the other stuff that's there are always those things that always reheat well regardless, right? Like some of the best comfort foods are really good leftover. Chili, gumbo, etouffee, stew, spaghetti, right?
Yeah.
You don't have to try too hard to make them something they're not. They microwave beautifully, If
it's like a stew or soup, I'll heat it up in a pan, sauce pot. Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
I don't want to wash dishes at your house, Steve.
Well,
I said I
worth it.
don't want to wash
Totally,
dishes at your house.
totally worth it. I promise.
What is is it just because that's the way you've always done it, or what's the prevailing
Yeah,
thought process?
I feel like it comes out better that way versus in the
Yeah.
microwave.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do
I'm,
you
I'm
think?
just I'm just genuinely curious. Like, so for anybody that doesn't know, microwaves cook liquid first. That's why those things kind of work better in the
And then
microwave, right?
everything else is just ice cold.
Bouncing the liquid. Hey, don't question the microwave's creative process, okay? It doesn't tell you how to do your job, but it bounces the liquid molecules around, rapidly. The rays do, the microwaves rather, and so that's why you kind of have to like stir something and let it sit and everything else and blah 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 blah. But I was just wondering if maybe that came from like, was there a time where you didn't have one, a microwave?
Oh, I've always had microwaves. I just don't
Yeah.
always use them.
What do you use it for the most?
Um,
You make popcorn in the microwave?
I do. Lately, the most common thing I've used my microwave for is just to reheat coffee. Really, I don't even use it like to heat stuff up. I just throw stuff in a pan and go from there because it
It's a
cooks.
big part of the breakfast process around here. Like I've been in a real muffin mood lately,
Uh-huh.
and they, just like 10 seconds in the microwave, put it in a paper towel and eat it on the road. Um, I don't think that eggs reheat
No, they
spectacularly
don't.
well in a
They dry
microwave. They
out.
get rubbery. Yeah. I
Yep.
think it's good for some things and not great for others. Now, I had some mozzarella sticks not too long ago that I took home from a restaurant just because I was like super duper full. That was the place where the air fryer came in clutch.
Oh yeah.
Because the
How would
breading
you?
stayed
Yeah, I was
crispy.
gonna say, how would you reheat like fried stuff? Air fryer.
Yeah, but I can't even think about what I did. Well, I can and feel super ashamed about it. I can think about it, but I used to just use the microwave before I joined the air fryer crowd, and it would just be like crappy, soggy fried food. Or in the case of like fried chicken, I would eat it cold. You know, cold with hot sauce, man. Like,
Huh.
stop judging me. Stop. You're doing
I'm
it. I
trying.
see
I'm
it,
trying not to.
Steven.
I'm
Steven.
trying. I can't promise, but there's a lot of judgment right
I
there.
can see it in your face.
I can feel my head just like throbbing. Oh my
You just have that.
goodness. You
It's that
used to
one.
do what?
It's that one vein in your forehead that's named Melissa. Yeah, I know. Hey, guess what? You're not the only man with one of those. Hate to tell you. Hate to tell
Oh
you.
my goodness. That just sounds awful.
Well, I mean, I just didn't know any better. I like send me to school, buy me books, get a degree, right? Like I said, nobody teaches you how to use the microwave, right? And I mean, essentially, right? It's like, well, you and I are chefs and have had careers and everything else, but I feel like it's not a lot of talk about
I feel like
either.
that should be part of the curriculum, though.
Well,
Reheating fried foods.
I mean, as silly as it sounds, right? There's not a lot of talk about running a household, a grocery budget, feeding yourself, right?
True.
Planning out meals, or the best way to utilize leftovers, even though in a kitchen, those are all the things that you kind of have to do. And then you just learn that's like trial by fire,
They
right?
need to teach that, like they need to teach. Well, maybe not balancing the checkbook because people.
Oh, they need to teach it.
But like the common sense things like that, they need to teach that in culinary school. Like this is how you reheat fried food.
Right.
Like
Well, listen, I guess in a professional setting, you're never going to have to do it, right? But at home, like you, if you don't eat leftovers, you're going to spend a lot of money. I don't know. I mean, I've also often thought that I could make a lot of money publishing a cookbook for single folks to where there wouldn't be any leftovers involved.
I thought there was money to be made there, and here I am. I don't know how many years later, still with a bunch of books.
I've thought like 4. I'm trying.
I can't rely on you to buy all of them. That would be awesome, but we're not there yet.
Shameless plug. It's a fantastic cookbook. Please check out Get Your Grub On by Chef Stephen Dallas.
Yeah. Help me pay my bills by buying a book.
Candy glass and yogurt brittle and lamb and mushrooms with vanilla. Get into it.
Lamb and tuna fish.
Yeah. My name is Chef.
You're not reheating fried food in that
You're
book.
not reheating fried food in that book, so that's a selling point. But yeah, I mean, I think like in home ec, Steve, I learned how to make pancakes, but when it came to time to write my first rent check, I had to go Google how to fill out a check. Like,
Really?
yeah, real talk. Like I just, I don't know, priorities. Hey, I make damn good pancakes. Just saying. So
Well,
thank God
unfortunately, that doesn't translate over to like adulting.
you can pay.
100%.
Yes, it does.
Almost some of it.
The pancakes are keeping me alive, Steven.
Yes, but how do you write the check to pay for the pancake ingredients?
You can pay rent electronically. Whoa. First of all, I've never written a check at a grocery store. Let's get that real straight.
I mean, 20 years ago, that's what we did. I did.
Easy, yeah. I mean, I had a debit card, but I digress. Yeah, it's all different. It's crazy different to cook for 200-300 people, run a banquet kitchen, plan special events, cater a wedding, than it is to like run your own house and try to figure out how all the pieces fit. You know what I mean? I think it makes sense that you would think if you were good at one, you'd be good at the other, but it's just different.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah. Is there anything that you like to eat leftover specifically? Like a dish that when you make it, you make extra on purpose and you freeze it or you keep it or you're going to love eating it again? Is that like you and menudo?
Spaghetti. Oh, yeah.
Spaghetti.
Well, menudo too, but I can only take that for about 2 days. Come day 3, I'm like, oh my God, why did I make spaghetti?
Why did I make so much of this?
Yeah. But spaghetti, it's great to heat up over and over and over. And then you throw a fried egg on top of that. Fantastic.
Yes.
That is my leftover, and I'm sticking to it.
That's your leftover holy grail?
Yeah, because, I mean, that and pizza. You can never get tired of pizza.
Pizza's such an easy meal prep, too. You buy the thing, and it comes in portions, and then you put them in containers, right? Like,
right.
No? Did I do meal prepping wrong?
That's meal prepping 101. I like it.
Pretty much. Pretty much. There used to be a time in my life where a large pizza was the entire meal. Yeah, it's really not right or wrong, but now I like to portion it out. So
same.
I like it, but I still like it cold. I said what I said.
Not bad. But there has to be a right way to heat it up.
I said what I said. Well, let's talk a little bit about like the best way to set yourself up for success when you have to reheat things or thaw them out, right? Storing everything as thin as possible is a good start.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just pressed 5 pounds of ground meat into sandwich baggies this morning for my groceries.
Nice.
For this past week. It'll take me a long time to go through it, but I also did the same thing with tofu, and you can get your jokes in here now, but if you crumble it right from the store, press it dry, marinate it, and put it in Ziploc bags, it's good to go when you need it. And then I did the same thing with ground turkey. So here we are. And I have a crock pot full of beans going, and then I'll freeze those flat too, and then they'll thaw out and be ready. I could can them, but it'll take me a lot more energy to do that. So I'm freezing them. I cooked them and froze them instead. So
how about that?
Yeah. I have a huge pressure canner, but I'm like, I got to go buy jars, and I got to go buy new lids, and like, maybe not today. So, whereas the crock pot will do all the work for me, like I'm staring at it do the work right now. So
I could say the same, but I'm upstairs.
And he's like, I can't see the smoker from here.
Yeah. So. Typically, whenever I'm smoking meats, I just light a cigarette and just blow my smoke onto it. That's how you get that smoke flavor, right?
You are so gross.
That's how you do it?
Sure. You're so gross.
Why does this salmon sure does taste like Marlboro?
This salmon has a slight Swisher sweet aftertaste on the palate. So gross. This is the worst restaurant ever.
That's how they do it, like in the barbecue restaurants.
That's how they do it.
They must smoke a lot of cigarettes.
Where do they find the papers big enough for the brisket? But yeah, is there anything else you do specifically when you're like trying to organize your freezer to make it easier, or when you have to heat something up? Like, what about soup? Do you freeze it and then you'd have to deal with this like giant soup ice cube?
Yeah, sometimes I do.
Yeah.
But I try to put it like in a container big enough to where I know like it won't last. Like we'll eat it, and then heating it up won't be a pain in the butt.
Mm. Hmm.
So there's also that.
Yeah. Sometimes I get impatient with soups and stews that are thicker, and I've like plopped out a giant frozen cube into a pan and doing it your way, like reheating it in a sauce pot or a pan, and then I turn the heat up too high, and it'll start to stick because I have zero patience.
Yeah. I felt bad because the other day we were breaking down that deer. We
Mm.
threw a bunch of meat into a bunch of bags, threw in the freezer, in a pot, just to kind of keep it all together and prevent it from making a huge mess. And so we had like blocks of
What
like,
are the bags froze together?
well, some of them did, but some of those like we had a couple ice blocks that were blood, So we're
Oh,
giving them to the dog, and he enjoyed them.
well, of course.
And I'm thinking to myself, like, man, when I reheat all this up, there's going to be a lot of blood everywhere. So I'm going to have to like really be careful because I don't want to get that all on myself, But man, I'm just in that boat of like, I I don't really want to make a mess, but I'm going to. I wish I would have like taken the steps to actually like really prepare this properly.
Well,
Now when I heat all this up, it's gonna be a
I
pain in
think
the
that
butt.
I think that when you thaw it, you'll have to have like a colander situation of some kind, like over the sink, maybe. So
True.
yeah, it's one of those things. But I'm a huge fan of like portioning the meats out when I get home from the store.
I like to slice everything real thin because that way when you heat it up, it
Yeah.
it heats up like that. You can't like throw half a chicken thigh into a container, heat it up for a minute, and expect for it to be hot. It's going to be cold in some points, scalding hot on others. It's awful. So you have to like really slice it thin.
Once again, the microwave is crying a single tear, asking you to respect its creative process.
Right. Oh, Chef Mike.
Oh, Chef Mike, the hardest working chef in the kitchen, never takes a day off.
Never.
My name is Chef. So when you're meal prepping chicken thighs, you're using boneless.
Boneless, skinless.
Skinless, got it.
Yeah.
So that's a really good point, though, is that to make sure that if you're pre-portioning food to freeze and use it later, or if you have some leftovers, like cutting everything into similar pieces is a really good plan. Similarly sized pieces.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nothing worse than having like a leg and a thigh bone in the microwave and trying to get like you're gonna get some cold weird tendon right by the bone.
Yeah.
For real.
As much as I like tendons and all that, like it's not good on chicken. It's not good on.
It's only good in Asian food where there's supposed to be tendons or menudo.
Yeah, exactly.
Like this was the intention. This was the intendon. I said what I said.
I wonder how a beef tendon would reheat.
Like a giant rubber band. It sounds terrible. Be like, wee. Like, ow.
And then you'd have like a bunch of grease on your face.
It sounds so
in the face.
So, Steven, are you telling me that when you've taken French fries home from a restaurant, you put them in the microwave?
No, I air fry them.
Ah, I see. Let's
go back to the pre-air fry days. I would throw them in a saute pan and pray for the best.
Did that work?
No, not at all.
So pre-air fryer and pre-toaster oven days, I used to cut up French fries, put them in a freezer bag. Like I would dice them, put them in a freezer bag, and it would be instant home fries for breakfast. That's all they were good for after.
Yeah.
So, but they still tasted weird because they were not intended to be home fries, and they had like whatever, they were fried in the flavor or whatever. So, suffice it to say, also, I don't really have leftover fries. Even if I'm super full, I'm like, I can just finish the fries. It's okay. Are you drinking water, Steve?
Drinking water.
Look at you being good and all. Is it flavored?
Lime flavored.
Ooh, is it with bubbles or without?
With. But as you get to the end of the bottle, you don't burp as much. I'm okay with that.
Okay. Burp. Today's podcast is brought to you by this L cup, which is full of sweet tea.
which is short for
Let me have my cut back.
yeah. Let me have my cup back, you
Yeah.
jerk.
Let me have my cut back, you jerk.
Yeah. So like I don't know. It just sucks. Like whenever you use the microwave, you have to have like spread everything out as thin as possible so that way it gets hot. Otherwise, like I can't stand it when you bite into like pasta and then you get half a bite that's like burning your mouth. The other half is like ice cold. Oh, it pisses me off.
I do like the spoon test where I'll stir all the food and then like feel the spoon to see if it's hot. Then like burn it. You're like, oh god, it's so hot.
Do you put it like really slow, or are you just like let's go?
Yeah. It's been responsible for many an injury.
I can't do it. I'm too scared.
It's a risk. It's a risk you have to be willing to take. I'm like, yeah, but it is super annoying. So yeah, spread everything out in the microwave. Possibly make it like a little space in the middle so that the air and the moisture can kind of do its thing correctly. Let food stand so that the molecules can come to a stop and the heat can disperse evenly, right? And then spread everything out as thin as you can. Make sure it's all the same size. Package it correctly. Like I hate seeing people put leftovers in foil in the fridge or in the freezer. It's weird. I don't know.
People do that?
I think they do.
They shouldn't.
I'm telling on them. They should not.
No, they should not.
I am not one of those people. There have been like some studies that will say that overexposure to aluminum is can be linked to Alzheimer's, but I think it's more like in your lymph glands and deodorant related. Hashtag not a medical podcast. I'm just saying what I've seen.
Now we're talking about molecular physics.
Molecular physics. Steven said it right.
Whatever the hell that is.
I don't think there's anything wrong with using a foil as a storage solution, as a lid for a bowl. Maybe line a pan with it. Trash packs when you're camping. Little foil pack full of veggies and sauce and seasonings and meat. Super great. I just don't think it's a good airtight solution for storing leftovers. That's all in the freezer.
No, not at all.
Yeah, or you can put a little parchment in between the foil and the food, and like that's a really good lasagna hack, right? We know that from being in the business. Is like lasagna or casserole, like plastic wrap, parchment, foil. Foil reflects the heat, insulates from the inside, keeps the plastic from melting. Then the aluminum's not touching your food. Bada bing, bada boom, right? So
I agree.
Yeah, fun times. Well, hey Steve, go check out that venison, dude.
Oh yeah. It's been smoking for a good 45 minutes now. I need to go check it.
Don't overdo it. It's been a really pleasure talking to you today. Talking to you again. Oh, God.
No? That's not how we do it?
Yeah. I don't know. What are you doing?
Peace, love, and lots of chocolate.
And lots of chocolate. Okay. See you later.
Take care.
Bye.
Bye.